Hey guys, I'm back again with another fix-it video. You all probably are real familiar with that noise, or if you're not, you're trying to figure out what it is, and it's that dreaded clicking noise these Bachmann engines make due to a poor material used to put the gears in these motors. And what I'm going to show you here in a minute, what they did was these gears are made of nylon, and with any kind of age on them at all, they just don't last. They end up cracking and splitting. And then whenever the gears turn in the gearbox, they separate and come back together, and they slip over each other, and you end up coming up with that terrible clicking noise. And as you can see here, I've already got the truck cover off. I've got the first wheel that we're looking at. And I believe, if I remember correctly, this wheel did have a crack in it. But these on the axles typically aren't the ones that are the culprits for clicking. But I went ahead and checked them, and they had some hair wrapped around the axles too that I went ahead and pulled out with tweezers. It's best to try to get as much of that stuff off as you can to keep it out of the gearbox. It'll just make your locomotive run more efficient. And here you can see these are the trouble that you're going to have. These are the problem childs. You can see that crack that I just showed you in that gear, and it's split. And this one has the same problem. It's split as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a like locomotive and we're going to rob the gears out of it and put them in this locomotive. There's multiple lifelikes you can use, and I'm looking through my little box of stuff, and I thought I found the correct gears I needed and wasn't going to have to rob them out of another locomotive, but that's not the case. So you have your Santa Fe's, your Union Pacifics, chassis system. They all typically carry the same gear that the Bachmanns carry. But the difference is you can see one is more of like a blue color, and the ones that are cracked are a white. And here I'm trying to take some that I already had in my box and use them instead of robbing them off the other locomotive. But it turned out that these gears here were just a little too small, and they are the gears that go beyond the gear that drives between the axle and the smaller gear. It's actually the smaller gear that's down towards the center of the motor. So when I found out that those gears weren't the right size and I checked everything else I had, I went ahead and started taking this lifelike apart. Now I already had the shell off. That's two screws that are on the belly of the locomotive on the fuel tank. And the next thing I did was I went ahead and took the truck cover off, which pops out on both ends, and then it just slides right off normally. I try to be really, really careful with them because I don't know how old they are and I don't want to break the truck. But as you can see here, this one's fully loaded with gears. It worked really well, but the shell was kind of junky and the front truck was broken and it would fall out. So I went ahead and just robbed the motor out of it, took the truck off and saved it for later for another project, and then pulled this apart. And the motor did work, so I went ahead and tried to save it. I cut some of the wiring loose and gave it plenty of wire to where I can solder things back together if I have to. And here I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to split the engine block apart. I put a screwdriver in there to try to hold it apart while I pop the gears out. Normally I can get them pins and all, but I just kind of slid the gears. Just so happened in this one to want to slide off one side, and I was able to get them to fall out. And you can see the smaller gears that are below the gears that I need fell out as well, and I went ahead and just put them away. You can see I've got it all empty. I'll set it to the side, and we'll start working on putting the other gears in. And if you notice, the shaft size from the Union Pacific lifelike is different than the shaft size in the Bachmann. So I found a drill bit that is really close to being the same size and was able to drill out those gears and put them on the Bachmann shafts to put in the gearbox. It does take a little time. You have to be gentle drilling these out. Try not to get them drilled out crooked, and try not to drill them out so shallow that the axle has play, or otherwise you may develop another clicking noise for slipping. I've got one done. I've got one more to do. Kind of just showing you the old one, and I'm showing you that crack again. Those nylon ones just don't seem to want to last. Once you get the drill bit all the way through, it's best to really work at it and clean the hole out on the inside so it's easier to slip the shaft on into the gear. I took the pin out of the old nylon gear and I slipped it into the new Lifelike gear. And you can see I'm positioning them with the short gear towards the center of the block and the long gear down onto the secondary gear. And that's how they'll look whenever you go to put your wheels in. And then that's how your wheels go in. Bring it up a little closer so you can get a good look. Pause it if you need to. I'm going to put one drop of oil on each wheel and one in the center that's going to kind of run down, and then I'm going to go ahead and snap the truck on. Now we're going to clean up the desk a little bit. We're going to test it out, put some stuff away, and you guys will love the result. I can't believe how quiet it is now compared to all that clicking and popping it made. And you can see just how much smoother it runs. It needs a wheel cleaning, but other than that, it works really well. Thanks guys for watching. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment up below, and if you would, please subscribe to the channel. I'll be making more videos soon.